Hi trader, welcome to the weekly Forex recap video brought to you by Apple Markets. My name is Chris, and as always, our focus is on these four currency pairs. But first of all though, be aware that this video is shown to a global audience but may not be suitable for everyone. Take a look at applemarketsglobal.com, select your country of residence, and contact an appropriate entity for more information on that. Also, please be aware that trading for exchange and global financial markets is considered high risk and may not be suitable for everyone. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. Plus, by continuing watching this video, you agree with this disclaimer and you're aware of the risk involved when trading. Okay, let's start this video with looking at the euro-dollar 4-hour chart, and we can see that last week we had a break of this triangle indicated by the green trend lines here to the upside, and indeed price made it to the first target I mentioned, the minus 272 target at 113.25ish. Price bouncing off that target, as you can see. So is that a reversal, or is that just a retracement for one more move up to the higher target at minus 61.8, near 115, around 114.60 to be precise? So that's the main question here. Is this a retracement of dollar weakness, or is this actually a reversal, and could we see dollar strength kick in? That's the main thing. Now, I'm keeping an eye personally on these tops right in here, this top, but also this bit of a zone right in here, because on the hourly chart, we can see, in fact, that that little zone right here is a bit of a pause, and that could often be a support level too. So I'm very curious how price will respond to that zone around 112.25, 112.50. And I'm keeping an eye on price action right there to see if there are any 4-hour candles that would show a bounce at that level. Now, if price does bounce, and it's, we see good candles to the upside, then I think there's a good chance that price will continue up to that target, and that could be a very heavy resistance spot again for potential reversal back down, in fact. But if price does bounce but goes sideways and make kind of a bear flag like this, I'm getting out of any longs because that actually looks bearish. That could be a bear flag, and price could continue easily like this upon the break. So yes, I'm interested in looking for a bounce, but I'm very cautious too of the potential for this as well. And I would like to see a strong continuation before staying in that trade. And if it does get to the target, I think that's a good exit, but also potential reversal spot as well. Now, what if price doesn't bounce at this level and price just shows one 4-hour candle after another pushing through that? Well, in that case, actually, I think that we're looking at a potential reversal. If price does accelerate down like this and then make a hook back to that 112.25, then there could be a head and shoulders here. It looks bearish if it's a bear flag, for instance, and a turn somewhere in here, I think, could be a continuation of that bigger downside. So that could happen too. So I'm keeping an eye, on this 112.25 and checking out if there is a break or bounce, depending on this 4-hour candle that we are going to see in the next day or two, and then we'll be either looking for follow through there or continuation. And one way to look for continuation as well would be, by the way, to put a trend line, of course, on top of these candle highs and look for a break above that. And let me make that a color that's a bit more visible, for instance here, by making it perhaps pink. So you can see a break above that, of course, could be a breakout to the upside as well if price gets there with enough momentum. So those are the different ideas that I'm looking at basically on the euro dollar. It's an interesting zone. So let's see how this continues throughout the week. And to get updates on the euro dollar and other pairs, of course, how they evolve this week, tomorrow and Wednesday we have live trading room at 7:45 a.m. Just before the London Open. We're going to take a look, of course, at these pairs. Nennet tonight, on Monday, his usual weekly FX recap with precise setups on the majors. And Wednesday, Thursday evening is basically dedicated to education. Nennet is looking at Murray Math, and together on Thursday, we take a look at how to practically tackle fear when trading. So I hope to see you in one of these webinars. 4-hour chart, and you can see price has basically reached all the way up to the 78.6 fib of this very last swing high, swing low. And always that could be a potential turning spot or bouncing spot. And let's see how price responds. We can see already a bit of a bearish reaction to that. Is this, again, similar to the euro dollar? Is this a retracement for a move up to the 80.6 fib, for instance? Or is this actually a reversal? And could price start heading lower? And that's too early to call, in fact. both are possible, both could happen in fact. So let's see which one of the two will unfold. We've already had quite a steep upside correction, and that might continue. So let's see on the hourly chart how the things look like there. And we can see that price had a lot of oscillator power here, so there could be one more push up. That could easily happen. But we also see quite a swift drop here too. So from my point of view, it's going to be interesting to see how price will respond as it gets back into support. Now, there's not a lot of natural support on this upside. There was one here, but price broke through that. There could be one maybe all the way back down here. So from that point of view, there's not much natural support, I would say. And if we put a fib from here to here, there could be a zigzag like this down to that level around 142.75, 142.50. So that seems, I think, the most likely at this moment. Basically a bit of a zigzag like that. All right. So if I put the fib from bottom to top on that last up move here on this hourly chart, all right, one of the bouncing spots could be a 38.2 fib. So a bit of a drop still, and then a bounce, and then a move down to those fibs, I think seems likely. Now, of course, if price really bounces very strongly and breaks above the 21 EMA again, and then starts to make a bull flag, well, then it looks bullish, in fact. But if price responds weakly to that 38.2 fib and makes a bear flag, then one more down move to the next support level, I think, is the most logical. So basically, to summarize it, I want to see how price responds to this bounce. Is it a weak or a strong bounce? I think that will provide more information about the potential next swing than we can say now, because there's upside momentum and there's downside momentum. And it's really caught in between those two sides. We'll have to see which one is the winner. It's difficult to say at this moment. Moving on to the dollar yen, there we had a clear break of the triangle. And we talked about this triangle, of course, well, quite a while. The triangle started technically around 11th of February, so that's already about 5 weeks, I guess. Finally got the break, and it was a bearish break as expected. Although a bullish break, we said, would bump anyhow into resistance and probably see a turn. So it was bearish no matter which break we got. It did move lower. So I put a fib from the last swing high to the last swing low, and looking for a turn at any of these fibs in a classical break, pullback, continuation scenario. So from my point of view, the invalidation level is that top, should not go above it. And if I zoom into the hourly, you can see there's a triangle here now at the moment. That triangle is being built upon basically this weekly or daily bottom, I should say, perhaps. Here, this bottom, you can see that it's struggling to break this double bottom. But it probably will, considering, you know, this weak reaction here. I don't think that is a strong upside. That shows quite a lot of indecision. So from my perspective, any move up, right, to these fibs could be interesting to look for a turn. Or if it breaks the triangle to the downside, it could be interesting to look for continuation. That's how I'm looking at this triangle. We got a good break and weak sideways movement. So I think that continuation to the downside is looking good. Last but not least, the AUDUSD has been really pushing up high. If you look at this daily chart, you can see price not only stopping at the 61.8 target, but I said there should be space now because it already poked above it last week. There should be space up to the next target, the minus 100 target at 76.50. And look at that. It went straight up to that target and stopped. So anyone who listened last week maybe caught a piece of that action for continuation up to the upside there. As you can see, retracement, but continuation to that target. That happened. We talked about these bottoms being a bouncing spot. That happened too. Those bottoms indeed stopping price. And we got the upside pretty neatly up to that target. So that worked out all fine. But how about now? You might be wondering. Well, we're still in the uptrend. We did have a bit of correction. So kind of the same story as the others. Is this a retracement or, in fact, a reversal? And that also depends basically how price is responding. At this moment, it's pretty bullish. So I would say it looks more like a bouncing spot for more upside, in fact. And I would think that any kind of bull flag here and break could be very interesting for one more move up. And the target, the next target, well, maybe up to 77.50 quarter level, or even 79, which is the next target on this list. So let's see how far it could push. Now, if it does stall for whatever reason, and it just doesn't break and it starts actually falling like this, then we have to be careful, of course, for the bigger reversal or bigger retracement, and then that could happen too. So it all depends how price will respond when basically moving up. Is it going to make a bull flag and break, or is it going to make a sideways move and reverse? The break of that, I think, will be very important to decipher which of these two scenarios is indeed the most likely. All right, thank you so much for joining this video. I hope to see you in the webinars. Take a look at admiralmarkets.com for all of the content and daily analysis, fundamental, wave, technicals. You can check and find it out also via social media. Wish you good trading. Talk to you soon. Cheers.